I know that, I did print out a copy of what I don't have this, but. I think the first thing to do is to try to determine a regular meeting time going forward, because we have this third Tuesday of the month from 2:30 to 3:30 until the end of the year. But we moved it ahead because this is a long, and whatever, we did because we did. But is the third Tuesday at 2:30 generally okay for people, or?
So far,
Yeah, up to next
Okay,
October's meeting, I'm abroad,
okay, nice.
12-hour time.
And so-
I might be as well. I might also be away the third in December,
Oh, December or October?
both.
Okay.
I could do October if we were able to move the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can.
Early.
Early
I could probably
earlier.
do
in the day. It really depends on who, the mornings are generally much
Yeah.
more difficult here, but
But we just need half for a quorum.
three out of five, yeah,
I'm actually fine for the next 3 Tuesdays myself.
okay.
Okay. Then,
Well, then we'll just leave it
Yeah.
as we have it.
yeah,
So we've established that third Tuesday at 2:30 to 3:30 here with Zoom 2 is through the end of the year. It's okay. We'll deal with next year. Wonderful. Well, I think that would be item number 1. Item number 2 is to have an election of officers. I don't know which officers there really are. Maybe we have like a clerk and a president or.
oh,
I have, just because I've been sort of the only one that has been here for 5 years, I didn't step off because I have a vested interest in this group, but I would be more than happy to advocate my, whatever it is, commissioner, head of the commission to anybody else who would like that role. If anybody else would go, oh yeah, I want that bad, please, raise your hand.
if you're, I don't need more on my plate, but if you're, like, if you-
I don't care, I'm happy to keep doing it, but if anybody said, no, I think we need to strike out new leadership, because look at our robust group, take no, pride of ownership.
so still support your leadership.
That gives us time to learn from you.
Okay, yeah, and watch how I take notes, I can't even read it. Okay, so then I guess what I should do is, propose that I remain the. What is it?
Or the motion that,
The
chair,
Yeah, chair,
or the motion to re-elect you as chair.
okay, so Kelly made the motion. Is there a second?
Second. Oh, wait, I can't. Yeah, right, because I'm not, am I in?
Yeah, right,
Okay.
I think they're all in.
Okay.
So Ella seconds. Okay, I don't know what other roles there might be, we don't have a budget.
And then we have to vote on it. So it's the whole room, we can just stay around.
Oh, yeah, all in favor of,
Aye.
let's say aye,
Yeah.
abstain.
Yeah,
There you go.
Good to have.
Yay.
Go.
Oh, to quote Neil, it's unanimous.
I did not sign my, whatever it is, like the code of ethics paperwork. I have to get that back.
Mhm.
It was like, shoot, like 2 days before the wedding. I kind of forgot to
Yeah.
circle back on it, but I will, make sure I get that to her.
Okay, so Maureen, I think she's just down the hall. Did you get a chance to do that? Thanks. Very, thank you. And I'm curious, I mean, I don't know if there's other positions we're supposed to have, like a vice chair. I'd like to propose that we establish a vice chair in case I'm for whatever reason not here and that person can make meetings and whatnot. So would anybody like to, raise their hand to be the vice chair?
I can do that.
Ellie,
If no one else wanting.
okay, anybody else wanna do it? You guys can fight it out with arm wrestling. Okay, well then, I would like to raise a motion that Kelly be elected the vice chair.
Second.
And
Raise of hands, favor, aye, okay,
shit.
Congrats, vice chair. Agriculture committee.
okay. Almost every commission has a budget, and we have never had a budget, and I don't yet have a reason to try to establish a budget. But it just seems to me that there are a number of things that are percolating that we should weigh in on, and including this whole deer thing, and the biochar thing, which I'll get into in a second. Things that are really incredibly beneficial to the island, and an agriculture commission would have a say in it, and to the extent we ever had a budget, should be able to, you know, lobby for it or put whatever money needs to be put towards something to, you know, to promote it or whatnot. But I don't know, I'd like to propose that we at least ask for some kind of budget. And then I'll find out what it takes to, what we have to submit to the finance committee to, have that approved. But I mean, can you guys think of any reason why a budget would be a bad idea, or does it just make us have to be answerable to town in a way that we aren't currently?
Yeah. And then any kind of, I don't know if there's like administrative stuff we'll have to do if we have a budget. More annoying than.
Yeah, I know, like, I'm not exactly sure what we need it for or what
Right,
we
I
use it
think that's
for.
more important, like, if we have something, like a goal or something that we wanna do and we need money for it,
Mhm.
Right.
I mean, you don't wanna wait until it's like. But. Yeah, like, what do we need a budget for? What are the goals of the committee in general? I feel like. What I'm kind of excited about, or what I think that could be useful or helpful to the community, would like. Making a resource of some sort, and that could cost money, whether it's like a web page or just like a. Annual or biannual like newsletter that like maybe it's like a little profile of all the farms. Or the events, like the farmer's market, the farm stand, Bartlett's, whatever. So that maybe either at the information center, or at the town office or something, there's like. A raffle
Yeah,
card
yeah.
or something that kind of promotes the local agriculture that exists, the land bank properties, walking trails. Just to kind of, I feel like if we could be a resource to the general public, like that's one angle of the committee, as well as being a resource to actual farmers and farms.
Mhm.
We could act as a resource to the community where, you know, that might be too simple, or maybe that information already exists, but that's something that I think could be of value and might not have a high cost associated with it, but there may be some costs that could be included in a budget for materials, for communication materials. I don't know if it's necessary, because like the Land Bank's website and our website and all these things already exist, but like to encompass the entire
Yeah,
island's events would be nice. And then maybe we have like one thing that's like, these are all the farms, and then we have like a little newsletter or something that's like all the summer events that has the, you know, the fair and whatever workshops are happening throughout the summer, like free events or something like that. That could be maybe it goes out once a year or twice a year that we could budget for, or if there's like a communications person on the committee, that could be their role or whatever. That's something that was exciting to me, especially like with the fair when the fair was coming up,
Right.
and getting people to participate in the Gertrude's farm stand, and like having participation in bring your animals to the fair, register your animals, you know, that kind of thing. We could kind of share that to the community, but that's kind of separate than what your kind of angle is, which is more for supporting farmers.
Yeah.
Those are just different things that.
I mean, we don't have like the Martha's Vineyard Agriculture Society, a big Grange Hall, and their big fair. You know, aspirationally, maybe someday we'll get it, but we don't even have, well, I would say, straight pig.
But I think that we do have animals on the island.
Yeah.
If we were to like collect them, and if I were to name every animal I know, it would be a lot of animals.
Yeah, right.
You know, we're not Martha's Vineyard Ag Society, we don't have that, but we have a lot of people interested in it, and sometimes like privately. Like I had 3 children's groups at Grace Farms Day,
Right.
so it is happening,
Yeah.
you know, we just, people may not know, or
Yeah.
know where those animals are, or if they have access to visiting them. But we do have them.
This is a peripheral budget stuff, but is there a consolidated, like list of what all the farmers have available to publicize anywhere?
I mean, what they have available for
Yeah,
sale. I mean, we do ours every Friday.
And that has all
newsletter,
the
but-
farmers in your stand.
Yeah, right.
And so does the website. Leah built this
Mhm.
tool on our website where you can kind of like search, like if you're
Yeah.
type in like local eggs, like
Yeah.
you can see where they're available. But it's pretty vague, you know, it should be like fruit, vegetable,
Right.
because it's so
We could at
seasonal.
least link that on
Yeah,
our site, a general site.
Like
So I
the
think-
Land Bank's website and like the walking trails, that, you know, all of those things that are separate, that are ag related or open
Have
to.
a list of all the honey. Ones to be listed, where you could get local fun honey.
Maybe it makes sense with regard to budget to figure out, to understand the process of getting a budget.
Right,
So
yeah.
that when we have something we want, to get money for, we can do it.
To get it appropriated.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like a 2 year, lag.
Right,
Which then would probably give more reasoning to start it soon
Right.
rather than
Right, yeah.
maybe.
Right,
But maybe we could just start with like a communication, like a small amount of money for, communications and then
Yeah.
see from there.
so at least people know that we exist. and
Yeah.
It's actually active.
or we could introduce ourselves on there, we
Right.
could introduce the farms, the
Right,
farmers and
right,
ourselves,
right.
and like what our,
Yeah.
what our connection to the agricultural world is or whatever. And then we become resources as well, like,
Right.
oh, this person knows about this and they're on the town's committee, like, we're gonna get involvement, and then maybe the issues will come up that our people are facing, and then we can
Right.
address them.
Yep.
Whatever.
Well, one thing I do know is that I've been working with Cleary Gottlieb at Innovation Institute of Nantucket.
Mhm.
I helped them get a grant from Community Preservation Committee to do a, island-wide, they've been filming all the legacy farmers and all the new farmers. Just because the NHA is going to do a big exhibition on agriculture, I think in 27. So
Oh.
it's something that's way out, but
Yeah,
helping to promote those sorts of things and at least being identified as,
Mhm.
A resource, or somebody to get you in a meeting with a farmer, I know it's hard.
Yeah.
Get a hold of them.
Okay, so should we propose that I'd like to make a motion that somebody approach the town clerk and the finance department to determine what it entails to get any kind of a budget for our committee.
Mhm.
Does anybody
I
want to,
I can do it.
you wanna do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Jacob?
The best show bureaucracy, right?
Okay, so I think it's, Brian Turbot.
Yeah.
Nice. Brian Turbot and,
Do we have a sum in mind that we want, is it under interesting?
I mean, website design, I've gotten people to do designs for all the farmers at one point. And Lindsay is one.
I don't know if we need a
Really?
I don't think we need a website because like the town has a website, but we can
Yeah.
probably make like, or like have like basically a newsletter that we then stick on the town's website and we change it like once a year, or, you know, we have that in addition to like, cause I don't know what the process is, they have a mailing list.
Right.
Or people have like alerts on their phone when there's like updates and stuff, so I feel like we should do a little research and stuff with that. But yeah, like something kind of start on the simple side,
Yeah.
like we're not gonna have our own whole website, I don't
Right,
think that's necessary.
that's a lot.
But basically, like I imagine like a newsletter style, but that's just like an intro of us or an intro of local farms, I don't know, something like that.
Things
I feel
happen.
like nothing more than like $2,000, you know?
Yeah.
Like $1,500 to $2,000, I feel like is a good starting point to ask for. Like for
Maybe-
digital media, basically, right? And
Maybe
then-
we could have a photographer go around.
Right. Right. Something that I had wanted for a while that's kind of like not really necessary for anything, but maybe something like this, would be like a portrait series of all the
Mhm.
farmers.
Mhm.
I think it's really nice to have that and have a snapshot of them in their field, which when we visited New Entry Sustainable Farming, which is like a farm incubator where they teach people, and they help them acquire their own pieces of land or jobs or whatever. Their office building was lined with portraits of the farmers, and it was just like such a great thing to, it was just so nice.
Yeah,
So, not that I think that that is what we may need right now, but I think that that would be something nice to have as a community
Well,
snapshot.
yeah, I mean, I would think that clearly the Preservation Institute, if they're gonna do all these.
Maybe they can just do it, yeah.
Maybe they can just do it.
Right.
And we are doing this cookbook.
Right, we're getting a lot
We're
of them,
getting a
they're
lot
just
of
not,
that anyway.
Yeah.
We're doing a next growing cookbook of all of the member restaurants, chefs, clubs, caterers, whatever, that source as much as they can locally, and they're contributing 3 dishes, hopefully seasonal. We're gonna compile it all into a nifty little cookbook. But part of that includes pictures of the farmers, B-rolls of farm, and some of the oyster folk. So we're kind of working on that. But we can take a contribution towards that. That's, I haven't gotten all the grant funding I wanted for that.
I know, just there no idea of how much marketing costs, what is.
it's like a spectrum.
Depends on like who you're hiring to do it.
And it depends like what you're doing, like, you know, we don't really need any of this stuff like printed in the newspaper
Yeah.
and in the magazines, but we could have like rack cards available at the information
Yeah.
center.
Mhm.
You know, we're not like selling anything, so we don't need to like.
Yeah.
Spend money on ads. And also just having it on the town's website is a resource, or having some information, like, and it doesn't cost anything to post things on there.
We have our own page,
Create some kind of
and we can
post.
just, do that. Here are the farms, here are the
Yeah.
farmers, here's what they produce and
So
sell.
it's just like
I think it's
text.
a good question for that, Brian Turner,
Brad Turbot,
Yeah.
you know.
like what is it? What committees or commissions start with?
Yeah, well, I feel like we
I ask what-
justify.
Yeah, and that's what we wanna do
We
with
wanna
it, yeah.
kind of raise awareness for the farmers on the island, about their stories and
Yeah.
their products.
Yeah.
We should elect a secretary or clerk.
Okay, all right. So, let's see, there's only 3 of you left. I would like to propose that somebody volunteer to become a secretary clerk of the Agriculture Commission. Anybody like to raise their hand?
I do feel like you have been signing us up for all the Zooms and have been really great and involved, and I'm not to give you an extra role, but I feel like you're on it.
I can do it, I need a little bit more notice on me, so I'm not always in front of a computer.
Right.
I mean, I can do it.
Jacob for secretary clerk. Who would like to propose Jacob for that role? I will. Second,
Second.
Lee. And all in favor of?
Aye.
Great. Here we go. We have officers, and as clerk, would you kindly relay this information? I guess we just have to write the minutes.
Yeah.
But that's doing it, right?
I don't know if we're recording it.
It is recording,
Oh.
who knows how much
I have notes.
it's. Okay.
I'll share that. So, anybody have topics that they're, oh my God, we just can't. Topics that they think are germane to our commission and discussion, that we should talk about and put in the minutes.
Question more than a topic, but why? It's my understanding Martha's Vineyard has a lot more farms than we do, is that true?
Yes,
And why is that the case?
bigger, just bigger legacy. I don't, you know, I don't know the history of anything about Martha's Vineyard Farms. But, I mean, they just have more dairy and
Yeah.
more cheese and more everything, you know? maybe they didn't have a land bank as early as we did, and they weren't going out and acquiring all of stray land that became public domain.
They
Yeah.
don't have as much open space either.
Yeah.
They don't have 60%
That makes
of
sense.
the island's not open space.
Is there, I wonder if there's a higher percentage of land that's either open or in agriculture, if it's a higher percent that's, in agriculture rather than open. Where Nantucket is more open.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I doubt it's 60%.
Yeah, right.
Like total
Right.
open
Or
space.
52, so
And did you say they have a commission or something, or what, you said?
there
something-
is, I'm sure they have, Martha's Vineyard Ag Society is,
But there's 7 towns.
Yeah,
So there's 7 separate towns with 7 separate like health departments
Right,
and
yeah.
like all that.
school districts.
Yeah, that's 7. Then the Martha's Ag Society is like
covers the whole island.
umbrella
Mhm.
of, but then there's all.
But then some of the
different farms.
towns.
Yeah, that's just a member society.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest,
Yeah, their town might also have an ag committee.
I'm sure they do.
Each
I
town.
think they don't have the agriculture commission like we do have. I visited IGI like a month ago and.
Yeah.
I was told so.
Right, and that is the most public facing entity because they started out being gifted, I think, 40 acres.
Yeah.
They established Island Road Initiative and the farm is primarily used for their teams to glean everything they grow and then donate it to the food pantry, which they now also own.
And the schools.
And they also,
They
yeah,
only sell like 20 or 30% of the produce that they grow, because they don't need to make a profit, because they have a really
giant endowment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool under their umbrella, they have this school lunch program, a food pantry, 2 food pantries and a farm.
Mhm.
At the very-
They have like, they have like 7 farm to school employees,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
1 for each school, and then like 2 administrators. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And, yeah, all their schools, all their kitchens are self-op on the vineyard, like self-operated.
They're not
They-
contracted out.
They don't have a, yeah, because they get all of this produce for free from the IGI farms,
Oh.
and they get all this food from the Krogers there. They get all this grocery store food from, to the school to use, because they're like smaller. They're not feeding,
Right,
they're only
right.
feeding like a couple hundred kids a day. It's just very interesting. They also have a food pantry in the Boys and Girls Club, which is like,
No, it's amazing.
Hmm.
Amazing. Again, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We
Yeah,
can
yeah,
just
right.
pick a play, present the plan. We're very generous, sharing what they know and how we can emulate. I mean, we did take a trip over there, Ella, Kat and I, and got to stay in sort of farm housing. They took us to 3 different schools and the Boys and Girls Club, the Edgartown Middle School, I guess, and a charter school to go see how these different school lunch kitchens operated, and the resources they used and just the way they went about it. It's just so heartening. you know? Does not have to be Chartwell's chicken patties or whatever. It's gross.
what else did you what were some of your big takeaways from going over there?
So I went there mainly for deer processing. I wanted to, because I attended a meeting in the library, they spoke about deer processing. So I went there to ask them, because Land Bank is trying to spearhead the Share Your Harvest initiative. And I wanted to see everything how they do, so they told me they kill like 6 deer a year that they process and donate, which is way below what we need. So whatever information that I wanted to know, would it make sense at that time? How much time they take on each deer, the space to freeze, and how they give it out, they donate ground venison and also cuts, and it would be hard for us to donate cuts over here. They started theirs long time ago, so at least they just gave us the idea that you can donate ground and you can donate cuts, and connected us to the state person in charge of wild,
Fish and wildlife,
yes,
yeah.
and he spoke with the commission on our commission meeting, and he's guiding us on what we need to do. So at least that was a connection they established. And also looked at their compost, how they do composting, and they do minimal tillage or no tillage in most of their gardens.
At IGI.
Yes, at Asia. That's where I visited. Yeah, so a few of those techniques were really great. We do most of those, our farmers do most of those, but not to the scale that.
Yeah, no, yeah, they have big windrows and stuff, yeah.
Why are cuts hard to donate?
Uh, well, right now, we were told the easiest way and the way they approve right now is just ground beef. Because then if we do cuts, they're a little bit hard to.
Distribute.
To distribute, to freeze. They require bigger spaces that we can be able to give. But
Yeah.
What about, do you remember at NCF, they had that guy who had the permit and he was shooting deer at NCF and they considered the bogs to be agricultural land, remember? So it's farming, so they had a exemption.
yeah, it's called deer damage.
And that guy, that kid had the gig for them, but something went sour with him and they took it away from him and they had to stop. But I talked to him one time and he was telling me that that basically they were trying to donate it to the food pantry and they had to grind it all up and he was doing it all at his house. And I was like,
Commercial kitchen?
no, I mean, I was like flabbergasted because he was like, yeah, I'm doing it. I was like, what? But it ended.
Yeah, I think there's just an article about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cause he,
You submit that. to
outside of that
commission.
project, like he was like, just like kind of a shady guy, it seems like. He had like some stuff going on, so they took that away, like he got in trouble, but couldn't someone else just do it?
That wasn't in the article.
Was it in the Yankee?
Yes,
And
February.
is trying to go for that deer.
Who is?
Deer,
Bank, is deer damage farming,
Right.
because you must be an agricultural entity and you have to show that there is damaging your crops or landscape
Mhm.
to get that. And it just helps you extend the
The season.
season. And I think, I don't know much about the NCF, but I think the boy that was doing it did it before.
They had the permit.
No, they had a permit, but before the hunting season.
Mm,
So maybe people had issues with that. They
No,
had
he
that.
had illegal guns.
But if you do it after the hunting season to just get whatever has remained.
On farm, yeah, like there's stipulations, yeah.
Yeah,
But, and so, okay, one, just shooting the deer, and also going above your limit, you know what I mean? You can't just like, one person isn't supposed to shoot a bunch of deer, but with that you can,
Yeah.
because you have that. But the processing of the meat and donating it, was that happening?
with NCF?
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure about that.
The article makes it sound like they were just dumping them.
No, this man was telling me about breaking them down and grinding it all.
But I think maybe initially they were just dumping them and they were like, oh, this is a waste. That's awesome.
yeah, it's illegal when people's dogs are eating them.
That's
That's
what
what-
I need to do.
Because I think under
But Dylan had a commercial kitchen.
Yeah.
Where this guy was
Yeah.
telling me he was doing his basement, and I was kind of like. We were processing turkeys in that moment, and I was kind of like, oh my god, there's a lot going on, but he made it seem like, I don't remember exactly if he was doing that or that was his plan. But he was talking about how he had to grind it all because you weren't,
You couldn't do.
he was like trying to do whatever right, he was trying to do it right, to be able to share the meat and like provide that. But I only talk to this guy like once a year, so.
With ground, you probably can put everything in it, right? Like, there's some stuff that.
Who knows?
You still have to.
No, of course, but you're not
But
having
like
like
all the, there's no,
backstrap.
there's no cut that can't be.
There's certain cuts that are just sort of a waste to use in ground. It's like good.
Yeah.
Steak.
Yeah, like the deer, antelope Diane or
The
whatever.
problem with ground venison, it's extremely lean. So
Yeah.
typically you want.
You gotta add fat.
some fat, but yeah, so if they're planning on just selling straight ground venison, I would not blur it.
Unless it's like,
Mix it with some little pork fat,
Yeah,
because we got a lot of that.
Yes.
Did the vineyard have a facility they were processing stuff, or did
Yes,
you
but
even
you
get
have
it?
a commercial kitchen.
Yeah.
They have a commercial kitchen, so part of it they use for processing,
Yeah.
and the other, I think the part is used for the and kitchen.
Uh-huh.
So I just submitted to Isaac for review, my idea of an agricultural industrial park. It could be
Yeah.
on town land, land bank land, but somewhere that is not like, front and center residential area, but would be available to catch the deer, hang the deer, I guess have to age for a little bit, and then you take it into the next row and you slaughter it, and there's a drain, and all that stuff goes into a catchment basin, and all the guts and everything else, you have a dumpster with a top on it that takes it out to the digester, because that's where they all go anyway, but you just capture all the waste. And then you have a commercial kitchen, or at least that what you need just for the deer adjacent, and then a giant freezer.
Yeah.
And then you can have the food pantry right adjacent, because they need space, so let's just give it to them, right next to where the food's being processed. And by the way, the MPPU could be on the backside, so. I'm done.
Yeah, looks like a good plan.
Okay. That's one idea. The other thing, and then, you guys have been, working closely with the American Farmland Trust on, biochar. Biochar being a solution to what to do with all the waste feedstock from forestry management that NCF, the town, and the land bank have been doing on their large tracts of land that have succumbed to southern pine beetle infestation. And the way I understand it is the forestry management, it's best to reduce the forest by X%, whatever it is, Danielle Dell, or, Emily Murphy could tell us, I heard 50%. You need to go in and cut a lot of trees down
Yeah.
to keep the beetles from transmitting and communicating, to encourage more beetles by breaking up the pheromones with wind. So if you're cutting down that much forest, I don't know how many trees a year, but all of that wood chip or logs could be turned into biochar with a pyrolysis machine, but you have to mix it with compost. And JP, the dump, started Oyster Environmental, and he's desperate to move his Omri certified compost, and if you could combine the two, I mean, it'd just be such a windfall. We wouldn't have to be shipping over bag after bag of compost in plastic bags. I'm sure that, Marine Home and Island Lumber don't want to hear this, but we could make it homegrown and make it available to people to sell or give away or whatever, certainly to farmers. It would just be a perfect recycling of all the resources on the island, so, I don't know. Looking forward to finding the date when we get to have that conversation.
Yeah.
I weighed in, but I noticed that they didn't, on that email, they didn't invite any of the farmers.
Well, actually, they have.
Oh,
So they attached one document that shows the proposed people they want
Yeah.
to invite.
Yeah.
There is a section for farmers
okay,
and other organizations that have not been part of us
Mm.
in the beginning.
Yeah.
That they need to attend.
yeah, I added JP, I sent it to Jamie, and just put
Yeah.
JP on there.
Wait, and what group is this? Sorry, is this about biochar specifically?
It's the American Farmland Trust, who's
Okay.
been contracted through the land bank in the past, and maybe still is, I don't know.
Yeah, it still is.
Yeah.
So, American Farmland Trust is like my contact. I work with the land bank as an agriculture specialist, so they are contracted to train me in the first year, so they bring me to speed. And in a few things that I need to know about New England and some
Yeah.
things that I think of that nobody at land bank can teach me because my office is new. So we contacted them about biochar to be able to use all the feedstock that we have on Nantucket. And it's not just forestry.
Yeah.
It's also like scraps from
Yeah.
the houses that we bring down.
Not
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
People
Yeah,
that
yeah.
cannot wait.
Yeah.
All those shingles,
Yes.
it's flammable.
they have experts that have been doing biochar producing, and even they have trials with farms. And we're trying to find out the best way we can involve Nantucket. And we've been having many discussions with POSI has been part of the discussions. And I think next month, they're planning a follow-up call, which if any one of us wants to join, can easily add in, just to show us the best according to, or to establish how much feedstock, first of all, we can produce in the next 10 years. It's viable to buy a pyrolysis machine, and how much the scale of production, because they're expensive technologies. So if we come up with all those details, then get,
Ray came to the first meeting, right?
sorry.
Ray came to that first meeting.
Yes, he
He said the lunch was really good.
Yeah, so the importance of
It's
biochar,
so funny,
you know,
because it does burn.
just to see it, we can study.
And what's the advantage of, what's the difference between biochar and just composting? Piles.
From my understanding, the biochar, you know, you're retaining all the carbon, like you're putting the carbon back in the soil. And then, but there's all sorts of chemistry that our farmers were talking to me about today. You know, if you add the compost back, then it is better at water retention, it's really good when you integrate it into sandy soil, because, you know, it's creating a better supplement than we currently have. There's no water retention in sandy soil, we have a lot of sandy soil. So you get both the carbon back, plus you get the organic matter, and something about the combination between the two creates, you know, you're not gonna be leaching all the minerals out of the soil if you have the right sort of base, combination base. It's kind of like a women's way of describing it, because if I had to get technical, all bets are off.
Well, like, I mean, if you think, like, I don't know, like thinking about pine, or just like the soil acidifier, I don't know if you're burning that out of it or what you're doing to it, but putting pine mulch is good. You're putting pine mulch ash mixed with manure, and I know that sometimes that Ray's only when it's like necessary based on the soil condition from the year before, we'll spread the ash from the burn pile underneath the manure and mulch. So it's like, we're kind of doing that in a way.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
But
this
not on a
new,
large
this
scale.
new technology where it's like, oh, but we're kind of actually already doing those ingredients, but now, you know, we don't have excess stuff like that, you know, we're just like burning what we have and spreading it because it needs to go somewhere, or because whatever, but it's interesting to see, and I've even seen somebody dropped off a bag of compost, and on it, it said biochar, like mixed with it,
Oh.
and it was like swine manure and biochar mixed into the compost as like an additional nutrient and made it more valuable. And that was the first time I've ever seen that like printed on a bag like that. I never really heard of biochar until like recently, for the last few years. Here.
We have a board member, Sustainable's board, who owns an organic farm in Socrates, and it's right adjacent to a big wood lot. So they collaborated on using the feedstock from all the wood to turn it into biochar. I think she probably bought them as well as this machine, and so she's a big proponent. I think she'll be probably on this call too, Sarah. Anyway, I think that's a really important topic that should engage the town, Dale Gary, the town's arborist, Conservation Foundation, probably, maybe Linda Loring, they've got, Pine Scrub, and then, Audubon, like everybody should probably be in on this conversation, because it should be viewed as an island-wide opportunity to get rid of invasive species, improve the forest health. Maybe we should be planting more oak trees instead of pine trees. I don't know, it's just a thought. There's a lot of oak acorns this year. It's a big acorn year. But these are all ag topics that I think it's good to have a role in if there's a role to be had, I don't know.
Did anybody watch the Dr. Lecrae and Dr. Telford on 60 Minutes? I didn't watch
I
it.
didn't get to see it.
I don't know if anybody has.
I'm sure we can go back.
The
and find
tick,
it.
I don't know if the tick situation comes under agriculture at all. That's another whole crazy conversation that's obviously being had on the island. I'm on the board for the Tucker Upland Trust, and it's a big conversation that we have about tick production and eradication and like what our role is in that, and like what, how do we, what do we do, if anything?
What's the deer population like on Tucker?
Great question.
Like here? Is it?
I mean, they can definitely swim over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know,
Right, kind of-
one time I went in the plane and I counted 75.
Yeah.
So, like, that was,
It's
Like
probably
here.
like,
Fluctuates.
Similar density.
yeah, they probably, if there's food over there, they're gonna swim over
Yeah.
there.
Right,
If there's
right.
not food, they're gonna swim back.
It's not that easy to swim, I've seen things swept, like,
Yeah, sure.
extra island.
Yeah.
That's
but the
scary.
tick population is very high
Yeah.
because
There's a lot of
it's just getting really bad when people are like not coming in. And it's like, that's not good for.
Have they found low, they found low,
You
right
might-
there, we must have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's another thing that the vineyard seems to be kind of ahead of us on, is occasionally read their newspaper, and it sounds like they have really high rates of alpha-gal.
My biggest
They're
takeaway,
even-
being their school system,
Yeah.
biggest takeaway.
Right, there's like restaurants that are specializing in alpha-gal safe foods, and people are spraying permethrin everywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
It's not so good.
probably it's sign things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Pay
was,
attention.
it was huge in the kitchens of how many kids had alpha gal and had to have
Mm.
medically tailored meals
Mm.
in schools because of it, and teachers,
Mm.
and people working there, and I was like.
Well, of the 5 people that came to visit us from the vineyard,
Yeah,
They all
two,
stayed
three
in my
of them
bunk
had,
room?
yeah,
yeah, 3 out of the 5 had, right?
yeah, people that work for it, yeah.
Yeah, they were all afflicted.
It's so scary.
Well, this is about the most robust conversation we've had at the Ag Commission in a long
Those are
time.
good topics to
Yeah.
talk about.
Well, I got one more.
Yeah, good.
The company I work for, we got a grant from Remain to just like study kind of a supply and demand project, and it's looking at where there are breakdowns in local ag moving to. We're trying to focus on food security orgs, but kind of looking at the whole supply chain. And starting next month, we're waiting for approval from health department, but it's looking like they will move about a few hundred pounds a month of food into a prepared meals program that will then go out via scented boxes.
Mhm.
And half of that prepared meal is all local produce.
Sweet.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's a pilot for just illustrating how this could work more effectively and trying to figure out where the breakdowns are and patch those up for V2.
Nice.
Yeah.
You
And they're all
should,
your farmers, it's Dan and Nita.
Yeah.
And we worked a lot with Abby too, she's not, that was
Yeah.
all summer stuff and
Mhm.
her food didn't go into the meals.
right, but now, this harks back to a question you asked of me, to check with the farmers if they could identify specific things they've done towards food insecurity. The only one I got a response from was Abby, and she was so funny, it's like, I donated at significant discount hundreds of pounds of tomatoes and cucumbers and stuff to, XYZ. I haven't sent that to you yet, because I was still trying to get responses from the guys at Sustainable Nantucket Farm, but I've got nothing.
Well,
So-
Dan and Nita and it's just like a regular, like they sell at a wholesale rate. to
Yeah.
spend it, so that is going in the food security box.
Yeah.
And we got, for the first time ever, I think we got the pantry actually buying tomatoes from Moore's End because we were able to subsidize the price
Yeah.
enough so that it was
Worth it,
affordable,
yeah.
And that was, I think that was the first time the pantry ever did anything like that. Yeah, so that, hopefully that one, and I think a big next step of that would be like consolidating across all the food security programs, because all the farmers are like, the bigger the volume gets, the lower we can make the prices, but.
Well, it also just means that they have an opportunity to grow year round.
But at the moment, everyone goes to the farmers by themselves, and it's definitely hard to be like, hey, like, well, let's consolidate this kind of communication chain.
Right.
I'm working on it, but yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
I was talking to one of the farmers and they're like, oh yeah, this person just called me. It's like somebody we work with them, like, It's not to me, but
Crazy.
this is exactly what we're working on.
Mhm. So, just so you know, back last year around this time, we had those 4 WPI students
Mhm.
come over and we tasked them with helping us to frame out how we could approach doing this community agricultural resource audit called CARET. And so we did interview quite a few parties on the island to help us. You know, the students are asking questions around these 7 themes, which entailed 121 questions. And they did 16 different interviews, including Matt and Brooke and Meg and Brian Lane and a whole bunch of people. And now the 6 counties involved in this study for southeastern Massachusetts are all commencing their CARET project. And it's anticipated that it's gonna take months and blah, 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 blah. And I queried my colleagues, we actually brought it to a vote here to see if the Agriculture Commission would be in support of our taking this on, but my own team is just like not able to contribute the time it takes to do this. So now I'm working with Meg on this, so we're gonna go forward, have a meeting with Rita on the calendar. And, you know, let's just get the right people in the room to corral all the other people who need to be part of this. And I think it includes Rachel and Cormac and, you know, Jericho, Vince Murphy, et cetera, people who have insight and expertise. And then we need to then make sure we're capturing the voices of people who've, you know, experienced food insecurity and give them the resources they need to show up and meet at these meetings, whether it's meals, transpo, childcare, whatever it is. So that's something that we're probably gonna commence in October.
Okay. And but the data for CARET's already been gathered, right?
No,
Oh,
we
okay.
have to go and answer 121 questions.
Oh, so the
By
students just kind of, what did the student, what was the
They were
roles?
basically looking
they
at
interviewed.
how, because we talked to a couple of other
Sorry, we're
regions
rehashing.
that had done it and how
It's
they
a
went
lot.
about it. Yeah, I know.
Well, like they kind of assessed the assessment,
Mhm.
and they were like, is this
Mm,
assessment
yeah,
good for,
yeah.
good for Nantucket? These are the things that we would change to make it better for Nantucket. Understanding that it's going to a bigger pool of data. So they kind of were like, this is how Nantucket could use this assessment
Mhm.
outside of how the East Coast is gonna use your data.
Mhm.
You know, like you can kind of, instead of just answering the question and move on, you can
Mhm.
like
Provide,
make goals in the areas that you think you need to. But that does make it even harder, because then you're like, okay, we're not just saying, we're not just answering the question, we're then saying, but what should our answer be and how do we get there?
Mhm.
So it becomes this like, it's a lot of information and it's a lot of conversation, because the potential here is crazy.
Mhm.
You could be like, oh yeah, like, obviously all the food security stuff, it's like, yeah, we could go on for an hour talking about all the different organizations and what they do, and then we could go on for much longer about how we could improve them
Mhm.
and streamline them. So it's really great that it gets brought up, but it's just a huge commitment of time and asking other people for their time to get everybody
Yeah.
together. So it gets to be a lot. It's 100 questions, so then you're gonna have how many hours of discussion for each one, and some people will prioritize some and others, and it's hard to, we need like a good moderator.
Mhm.
Where we are like, this is what we're doing. So that assessment was helpful. The WPI kids assessment was helpful because they were like, some of this is not really applicable, so you might wanna reorder the way that you answer the questions, because there's gonna be a bunch where you're gonna be like, all right, well, we talked about that 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
So there was a lot of good that came out of that, but we've been preparing to collect the data for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's not really what we do either.
Yeah.
So I think that working with Meg and getting some like advice and getting a good moderator is gonna be really helpful, because it is really all the
convening of
the
it.
conversations like pre-data gathering have been great, and like we've learned so much about our community and like kind of what it all boils down to. And I'm wondering if the grant you guys received and are working on is that Nantucket survey. thing that we've been, because I've seen some posts about like prepared meal programs. And I've also seen some posts about this thing called the Nantucket Survey. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I've
I've
seen
seen
it.
it like on my
Yeah.
Instagram, like For You page where
Yeah.
there's somebody collecting data from like year round.
Yeah.
I didn't fill it out because I was like, I wanna find out more about
Yeah.
this, but. So it seems like there are quite a few, there's like, whatever that survey is, this carrot survey, the information that you guys are gathering. You know, I'm sure alongside the program that
Yeah.
you're doing, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it does seem like
We-
there's
way too
Nantucket and
many
like Meg is like a
schools,
good
yeah.
person too.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of it can kind of almost auto or self-populate, and one of
Based on
the,
the information that's already been
yeah,
gathered.
and like one of the big things the farmers said to me, like, a lot of them said, it's like their time's already so valuable, and like, you guys all know this, yeah, they're just like,
Stop asking
like-
how many carrots I grew or
yeah,
whatever.
and they're just like, you know, so often people come to us with ideas and things, and it's like, doesn't feel like anything gets off the ground, and it's like, kind of discouraging. And I think, yeah, just as we all move forward, you're conscious of that.
Like they're excited to grow food. They're excited to grow food for the school. They're excited to grow
They
food
love
for the food pantry.
This program that
They're
we're
so
doing,
proud.
they're totally love it, because they're actually getting paid.
Yep.
They're getting-
And it's consistent.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, oh, you order on Friday, you pick up on Tuesday or whatever. Same thing with,
I think that's the other like, part of it is like, so often when it's in a food security service, a lot of things are like, they're like, it's not treated like a regular
Business.
business relationship. And then there's like favors being asked or expectations that either people have for the other person, and then as soon as any one of those things falls apart, then just everyone gets a bad taste in their mouth, and then the relationship's sour.
consistency
Yeah.
and people getting paid
Yeah.
is how things continue to work. Like the school lunch program, when it was like school lunch and send it boxes every Friday, the department was like, hell yeah, like, we were proud of what we're doing, we're getting paid, our produce is getting moved
Right.
into the mouths of year-round people, and I'm
Yeah.
getting the same price as when that food gets moved
Right.
into the
Yeah.
restaurant people's mouths. And I think that they would much rather, you know, but they get to do both, and they get to
Right,
continue
right.
like, growing, get more space to grow, and put more food in. It's all feeding into each other.
Yeah.
But yes, like what you're saying, I think the way that you just, like the way you phrased it about like, instead of getting like like all these random orders,
Yeah.
getting like one big order,
Yeah.
and where's the processing center of the Hive or wherever, like, it's all going to Amelia Drive right now anyway, like,
Yeah.
those things is gonna be more efficient for farmers, it's not gonna take up as much of their time, they're paying the same price for it, like, there are ways where we're like, and you see that, like, working, happening there. So that's awesome, but the food pantry, like, it's not all under the same kind of thing, like, the food pantry is a separate place, their pickup and drop off days are
Yeah.
not the same as the Hive and the send it boxes, so it's not, you know, but it's getting
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Things don't have, you can't just like change things like
Yeah.
that. You see it is consolidating, and then there's availability, like, oh, you can't make it to this place on Monday, well, maybe you can make it to that place on Tuesday, and there's options for people. That's really cool, it's really cool to watch.
Yeah, they don't quite match up yet, so it's like when certain food's available, like just depending on the day of the week. when
But
certain
that's
foods
also
available.
good, because what if you work on Tuesday night and you can't go to the food pantry,
Yeah.
but on Wednesday night, you
Well,
can
it's
go to the
good,
Hive.
it's good once we figure out how to fill that gap. But right now, anything that's donated post Thursday has nowhere to go.
Until
I
Monday.
remember the first time you called me, you go, I have all this bread, what can I
Yeah,
do? I'm like,
yeah.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
That was really disturbing to me. I'm like, how come they're-
yeah, so
Let's
Thursday,
make French toast and
Thursday,
freeze it.
Thursday evening through Monday morning.
Terrible.
Food rescue.
And that's probably where
Yeah.
when people actually are gathering outside of the workplace. You know,
Yeah,
like,
and I think it's very much a Nantucket problem, because the other communities, it's like there's enough overlap from all the different abutting
Mm.
pantries and food security programs that people
Yeah.
find outlets. Like I was talking to my aunt, she was like, oh, Friday this happened, Saturday this happened, and she lives somewhere on the mainland.
yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and that could be another, that could go on the Agriculture Commission's page on the town's website.
Yeah.
The schedule
Right.
of
Yeah.
that availability, once it's like, you know, like a
Uh-huh.
consolidated thing that doesn't change all the time, it could just be another thing that's like there.
One other just quick thing, when you were talking about just awareness that I had going on, I had a fascinating experience like a year ago where I went out to the farm stand with a friend of mine who's like kind of an advocate for the Latin community, and she was like, she'd never been there.
Right.
And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna tell so many people about this.
Yeah.
But like, just for some reason, that part of the island just, and she'd never
Yeah.
had a reason to get out there, and I'm sure I have no idea that it existed.
Right.
And I think that it's like a great like whatever.
Yeah, that's not
whatever-
helping Guino.
Well, yeah, whatever areas where we are messaging them, like don't align with certain listener groups or demographics.
Yeah, we need to, well, we're finally getting the SNAP hit thing up and running in our market. We got extra $10 from Sustainable Cape.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We just got
We need to
5,000 from Nourish Nantucket to do that.
Yeah.
And is there a way to, latch it onto the farm stand? That's difficult. We don't have,
There's no like person there.
Yeah.
But like,
brought
it's
this
cheaper
card.
for her to go spend her own money.
yeah, right,
And she, but that right now,
yeah,
So we're right, you don't even like need to get to the food security center, but it's like,
right,
there's a significant percentage of Island may not know how to exist.
yeah.
And
Is there any information at the tourist office on?
We do have rack cards.
We just made them,
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
that have like information about the farmer's market and the farm stand on
Yeah.
that side. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
we-
kind of time, so, shall we discuss, I guess what we should do is adjourn our meeting at 3:30, sure. Okay, we're adjourning at 3:30, all in favor?
Right?
Great, thank you all for your participation, your insights.
Oh, another thing that is like unrelated, but next year, when it's fair time again, I really want, and even in the spring, I want to promote Gertrude's Farm Stand, and I want people to grow things to be in more of the
Yeah.
farm stand, including farmers. And I know there was like some weird commercial versus residential or like commercial versus home grower stuff, but even just like to display, for farmers to display some like funky and large vegetables that I'm just gonna ask them to.
Yeah, your most.
As a
giant
friend,
zucchini.
as a